Coordinator for Strategic Communications at the National Security Council, John Kirby. Good to see you, sir, as always. We appreciate it. Why these new nuclear threats from Russia now, and are we taking them seriously enough?
Difficult to know exactly why. Once again, we are hearing reckless and irresponsible rhetoric coming out of the Russian side with respect to nuclear weapons.
They're worried?
I don't know. It's difficult to know exactly what is prompting this, but it's reckless and it's irresponsible. And in your second question, are we taking it seriously? Of course we are. We're monitoring as best we can their nuclear capabilities and whatever preparations they might be making. I would just tell you that we continue to see nothing that would cause us to change our strategic posture at all.
The Russians are setting this up as an existential threat. A victory by Ukraine is supported by the West as an existential threat. Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, on that. Take a listen.
Just as Napoleon mobilized almost the whole of Europe against the Russian Empire, as Hitler mobilized, captured, and enlisted the majority of the European countries and deployed them against the Soviet Union, so it is the same now. The United States have created a coalition. Using Ukraine, they are waging a war against our country.
It's just false. It's a ludicrous claim by Mr. Lavrov. This is not the West versus Russia. It's not NATO versus Russia. Russia is the aggressor here. Ukraine posed a threat to no one, let alone Russia, a year ago. And they were invaded. They were attacked from the air, from the sea, and on the ground from Russia last February. They are the aggressor. And if they're worried about threats to the homeland, then one of the things they can do is simply leave Ukraine, call it a day, and take their troops out. They could end this war today. But if there's threats to Russia, it's not coming from the West. It's not coming from NATO. It's coming
from their own actions.
It's coming from their own actions.
Unquestionably, and any fair-minded person would have to say what this White House has done, and you have helped with in the communications battle, with respect to Ukraine and rallying the world to support them against Russia has been an unqualified success. 11 months ago, Patriot missiles were something that you would get laughed at if you suggested. We've moved down this continuum, and we continue to move down. But are we still tiptoeing around giving the Ukrainians the kind of weapons that they need because there is still a concern of we don't want to provoke Putin?
We are giving Ukraine and helping provide Ukraine weapons and capabilities that they need in lockstep with their requirements. And yes, some of those requirements have changed and evolved over time in conjunction with the way the war has changed and evolved over time. February last year, everybody was concerned, rightly so, about the attack on Kyiv, which was done by armored columns coming down from Belarus. You remember this.
Sure.
And so everybody was talking about Stingers and Javelin anti-tank missiles. And so that was where the discussion was. And those were the kinds of capabilities they were giving. In the spring, when Mr. Putin decided to reorient his focus on the Donbass, it was long-range fires, artillery, the HIMARS that we're talking about. In the last few weeks, it's been air defense because Mr. Putin has decided now to attack Ukraine from the air using drones and cruise missiles, hitting civilian targets. And now, again, as we're starting to head into the winter, and we know that the fighting is going to be prolonged here for the next weeks and months, issues like artillery, more artillery, tanks, armor.
Well, tanks is the big question, right? Because the Germans say they're ready to give tanks. We've said not so fast. Take a listen to the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe talking about the Abrams tanks.
It's clearly the case that Western technology, modern Western technology, is outperforming Russian technology. However, I would point out that it's not just tank on tank. It's the whole system. It's the supplies. It's the logistics system. It's the maintenance system. It's the target finding capability, and all of that comes together.
Are we not giving them the Abrams tanks because the Ukrainians really aren't ready for everything that goes with it? Or because we're not sure we want to take that step and antagonize the Russians? I
won't get ahead of decisions that haven't been made yet. Our DOD colleagues have talked a little bit about the Abrams. It's a very sophisticated capability, and it requires an entirely different supply chain and set of skills to operate the Abrams tank. Now, again, we are continuing to talk to the Ukrainians about what they need and the capabilities. Clearly, tanks are important, particularly in the fighting that they're doing right now. The Brits have offered tanks. Other nations are now considering tanks. And and we think that's a good thing for Ukraine. And we're grateful for the support that other nations want to provide. As for our own tanks or advanced capabilities, we're still going to continue to evaluate this going forward. But not every tank is exactly the same.
Back to the very top, where we began, is the American people hear threat of nuclear war. It's something we haven't really even heard since the 1960s, something that hasn't been contemplated. People just don't talk that way.
They're not supposed to talk that way.
Fair enough. Why all of a sudden have the rules changed and people are talking that way, and we're not hearing the kind of language out of this White House and say we heard out of the Kennedy White House during the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Well, nobody benefits from a nuclear confrontation. Nobody. And
true.
It shouldn't be fought, and even the Russians will tell you it can't be won.
Right.
So again, we find their rhetoric reckless and irresponsible for a modern nuclear power. There's no reason for this to escalate to that level of death and destruction. And again, I say, if there are concerns about threats, then the easiest way for the Russians to ameliorate those threats is to leave Ukraine. They started this war. They can end it. Mr. Putin could do it today if he wanted to.
I'll leave real quickly with just this last question. You used to be the Pentagon spokesperson. The Pentagon press is up in arms right now because they're not being allowed to do the story of American military trainers helping the Ukrainians learn the Patriot missile system. What better message of strength would it send to Vladimir Putin and others than to have the world see us training the Ukrainians on American soil?
Well, look, this training just started. We're aware of the concerns that have been expressed by the Pentagon press corps. We certainly understand and we respect those concerns. But the training just started. And so we're working our way through how to conduct this training, and we're still working our way through how that training, how that instruction can be publicly portrayed.
So the optics are not the issue.
We're just working our way through this.
All right. Good to see you, sir. Thank you very much, as always.
Good to be with you. Thank you.